What's up, everybody? It's another great day for another Covert adventure. I'm Christopher Covert, and we are out here at the Indian Boundary Recreation Area / Campground. Anyways, I have my best friend for almost 15 years, Gabe, with us.
Hello.
And we're going to go through and we're just going to kind of show the campground off just a little bit here of what we got. So it's going to be very packed this weekend. So we're just going to kind of make sure we do this today because these sites will all be full. So anyways, we're just going to hop to it here. This campground has 91 campsites with all electric sites. They do not have water at the site, so you have these little tiny community spigots everywhere. We're just fortunate enough to have one right here next to us, and you just pull this little flap down and you got some water pressure coming out of here on these ones here. The Forest Service seems they got the water pressure right.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
yeah, we got flow.
Most of these sites are pretty deep. As far as getting an RV and stuff in there, we're in a little bit of a smaller one, but it'll work here. We're going to just take a look here at 77, I believe, just to kind of give you a little bit of a rundown, because one thing that I found out I didn't realize until we came up here, some of these campsites actually do offer 50 amp electric service, which is really nice if you have a larger RV. But anyway, so this is how your standard campground site looks when you're in here. Obviously, there's your picnic table. You got your nice fire ring with your cooktop. They are a little bit different designs in each ones, but some of them look like this. Some of them have the flip-up grade on them as well. And obviously, you do have your lantern post over here to be able to put your lanterns and things like that.
I thought it was a coat hanger.
Well, it could be used as a coat hanger too. Over here, Gabe, why don't you go ahead and pull up that electrical panel for us, and we're going to go through here and show you a little bit.
You've got
one thing that I think it's important to make sure that we do look at is the power receptacles at the site, because some people might not necessarily know what they mean and why you would have one over the other. So we're just going to go over it really, really quick. So anyways, so for the record here, this is a full service panel. So you have your typical 110 outlet right here. So this is what you would see in your house. And you would use that. So if you have like a tent or something like that and not an RV, that's more than likely what you'd use. Here is a 30 amp. This is what most campers are going to use is the 30 amp electrical hookup. That's one hot leg of hot. Your neutral would be here, and this would be your ground. And so that's about 30 amps electric, which is 3,600 watts of electric. Then you have the big boy over here of 50 amp electric. Now 50 amp electric is in two hot legs, which means there's 50 on this side, 50 on this side, so a combined of 100. Here's your neutral, and here is your ground. Now you may ask yourself, well, how do I know I have one or the other? This is typically going to be your larger RVs. RVs that have 2 air conditioning units will have that. Some of your smaller ones that may have one may also use that, but that's your bigger fifth wheels, pretty much campers that are going to be 30, 40, ones that typically people are going to be living in as opposed to just taking out for a weekend trip is what that is going to be used for. So,
and you've got this nice little diagram from the National Forest.
Yeah, so one thing too, proper campsite etiquette is to make sure you turn off the power when you are done. That just saves on energy. All right, so we're going to kind of walk around a little bit, and we're kind of starting off on the high end. We're in the D loop area. Starts off at 74, I believe, and goes up to 91 is what is the D loop area. And you can just take a look at just kind of how the campgrounds are laid, our sites are laid out. Now
that
this
one's interesting.
An interesting one. We're going to walk in on this one because this is why it is very important that you read the information and kind of look before you go, because if you had a larger camper, you'd be kind of in trouble here. So this is site 75. The camping area, parking area is not really big, and if you had an RV, you would be able to get it in. But if you were someone who maybe, can't really do stairs or anything, this site has stairs to walk up to the actual firing, to your firing area. Your firing's here. Here's your picnic table. But it does make it nice because let's say you did pick this and you had a smaller camper and you had some friends where they could have their tent up here, and you'd have your camper down there, and it would be like you're together, but you're also separate. But one thing that is kind of nice is you're up on a hill and you get a kind of a really cool view of everything from up here. So it's not a bad site. And people kind of cut a trail to make a shortcut down onto the bathroom you can see, which probably is not necessarily recommend it, but you know, it is there. I'm going to say one word and see what happens. Let's get Gabe's reaction. Hey, Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Remember Cardin's Bluff?
Oh, God. Yeah, that, we should go film up there if we go back over by, what was that, Little Oak?
Yeah.
Or up in that area, the Bristol area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an experience. That was being stacked on top of everybody else like sardines, and driving through it was an adventure.
It was funny. We had the camper at another campground, and I said, hey, we're going to go look at this because I have been to every campground now in the National Forest. And so we drove up there, and it was like they said, everything was, I think more than like half of it was tent sites, and they had these little pull-offs on the side of the road painted, and that was like where you would park your vehicle, and then you'd have to walk to the campsite. Well, some of them were actually meant for RVs, so they're like RVs parked on the side of the road.
It was harrowing.
Very confusing. So anyways, we're gonna stop here at campsite 74. This was actually the first one I came up here and stayed with my parents. We stayed here at this one. We had a pop-up at the time, and we stayed in this one. And it is a nice campground, a nice campsite, especially if you have no toilet or anything, because the bathroom is right there. But unfortunately, the only downside to it, and even this site right here, is this is the walking path to the bathroom. So it will bring kind of some traffic in. I don't like having things behind me when I go camping. I know the road is kind of close where we are, but it's the main road, and there's really no traffic coming. So
not a whole lot of road noise, thankfully.
Not a whole lot of road noise. So we're about 2 miles off the Skyway, and you can't really hear it from here, but I'm sure you'll be able to hear the motorcycles and stuff coming by. So one thing too, and they're scattered throughout, which is also nice and important because every campground is different on how they do this. The trash cans are set out in more of a dumpster style when you come out here. So this is nice because it's not like you have to go take it to one spot. So each area, there's just a dumpster not too far away from here. And then here's some additional parking for that as well. But you might as well just reserve. This campground is probably one of the busiest campgrounds. So coming up here to find a day fee in the middle of the week, you can do it. But
golden passport discount, whatever that is.
But here's a nice little map of the campground right here. And you can see, like, here's the main road that comes in. So this is to the Skyway. This is where you go down to Tellico Creek, where the 14 dispersed camping areas are. Really great fishing and everything. It's almost, I like to call it the twin sister to River Road and the Tellico River corridor side. Overflow parking area over here. This is the overflow campground. That's open year round, and you can go in and put a boat in the lake, but it is troller motor only. And then here is the campground, and you can see how the loops are kind of split out through here. We're really on this circle. C and B or D are both combined. So anyways, let's walk over towards the thing. Oh, one thing too, it's very important to know. This campground closes its gates at 10 o'clock at night. So you have to be in at 10 o'clock or you're gonna have to park and walk in.
Oh gosh.
So that's the only thing. You can know that if there's an emergency or anything like that, but you can't go hunting or fishing or go to work. You have to be in and out at these certain times at this campground. One little fun thing about up here at Indian Boundary is they allow you to rent some stuff out. They have paddle bikes that go out on the water you can rent. I mean, it's a hydro. It's called a hydro bike. I've actually never, I did it in Exploring Tennessee back at the station. We never covered this part. I wish we would have, but it literally is a bicycle. And then of course your traditional paddle boat.
Your like really swan boat looking thing.
That would be fun to do as well. But yeah, oh man, that is great. That is great. But yes, great opportunities right there. Anyways, we just made it to the Indian Boundary beach area. And the Indian Boundary beach area is a little area off to the side of the lake. You have the sand down there, nice little sandbar to be able to enjoy. You can see where it's all buoyed off to keep the boats and stuff out, but you get a really good perception about how big this lake is up here. This is kind of more of the higher point that's clear. That little area over there is where you can put your boat in. That's also your little fishing area down there. That was the pier from earlier over there. But you can definitely see the bigger port and get pretty much the whole view of the lake. But then over here is where the dam is at over this way. You got a nice little grass area here. If you ever want to play frisbee or football or set out a little picnic or something up here, you got. And then there's a little bit of a pavilion over here where you can have your picnic tables and you can kind of sit out. I don't think this is reservable at this one. It doesn't look like it is. But this is nice to be able to come up and sit and enjoy a meal and whatnot. Unfortunately, it looks like the restrooms are closed for whatever reason due to water issues. One of the unique features on the 3.2-mile hike around the lake is you get to go across the Indian Boundary Dam. And I don't have a lot of facts about the dam, but it is really neat that you're actually able to walk across it and get a good look. It sits pretty high. It does sit pretty high here, and you get a real good view of the lake when you go through it. It is a little narrow, so you probably don't want to necessarily ride your bike across it. You probably just want to walk it. But, you know, it's a very unique feature to be able to come out here. They do drain this lake down in the wintertime. And, but yeah, here's the control to be able to raise it up and down here in the middle. I don't think there's a date on it when this thing was put in place, but it was made in the US. But this campground was built back in the 60s, so I'm pretty sure it was built at that time as part of recreation and everything. But it is a very interesting feature. It is completely full. As you can see, we're going to try to maybe get a little bit of better video. I may have to walk back across there and get some better video of that.